Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Minnesota Twins discussion video, but this one's important because this one, as you saw in the title, is about the All-Star game. First of all, however, I do want to congratulate Jorge Polanco and Jake Odorizzi for making the All-Star game. Obviously, that's a huge honor, and I don't want to take it away from them by not trashing, but ranting on why the Twins didn't get more players into the All-Star game. So first, congratulations. Jorge Polanco will be starting in the All-Star game, which is fantastic. He's had a fantastic year at shortstop. And then, of course, Jake Odorizzi will be a reserve. But he is the only reserve for the Minnesota Twins. I mean, we're going to go through all of this, of course, but players got snubbed. We know that we're used to it as Twins fans. I mean, last year, Eddie Rosario, he got into the, whatever it was called, the extra fan vote, that one player could get in. And, of course, he didn't because Mitch Haniger, who was not having as good of a season, got in instead of him because the Seattle Mariners needed a player. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, we got snubbed again this year. I'm going to go through about 4 or 5 players that I think should have been in there, and I'll tell you why. I mean, you already know that C.J. Cron, Eddie Rosario, and Nelson Cruz already were in the top 3 of voting for the All-Star game. Of course, Polanco was as well, but he got the starting job. So, it doesn't make sense to me how you could have players second and third who aren't in the reserve pile for the All-Star game. What does that, okay, so you're telling me that you could be in the top 3 in voting for 3 guys, right? And then they all miss the All-Star game? I mean, let's go individually here. Let's talk about Nelson Cruz first. And I understand that, he's done well, right? But he's really picked it up as of late. And, of course, people aren't going to know that, right? I mean, voting closed last Wednesday. Of course, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he hits 5 home runs or whatever it was. But, obviously, you're not going to see that, especially the majority of the MLB. They're not going to see, okay, Nelson Cruz hit 4 home runs. Let's put him in the All-Star game. It's okay, we're going to look at other guys, like Hunter Pence, I believe, was the guy who got in for Texas as the DH. It's like, okay, yeah, he's having a good season, but look at how hot Nelson Cruz has been over the last couple of games. I mean, the guy is 39 years old and still hitting almost 300. He has 16 home runs now on the season. 4 of them have come in the last 3 or 4 days. He has been absolutely tanking the ball, but nobody notices it. Okay, right? Let's go to Eddie Rosario. Of course, this is part of his injury, I believe, but again, it's the same thing as Nelson Cruz. You got Eddie Rosario, who does pretty well all through the year. Granted, Eddie Rosario, I think, is the guy on this list who is the least deserving of the deserving guys, right? So, Eddie Rosario, the first twin to hit 20 home runs this season, he really struggled at the beginning of the year, but found his rhythm and then kind of went through another slump, and then he found his rhythm again, and then he got hurt. So, yes, I do believe that Eddie Rosario should be at least considered. I don't know, because there's so many outfielders, right? That's the hard part. There's so many outfielders. It's really hard to put Eddie Rosario into that category of, yes, he should be on the reserves, especially since he's hurt. He's kind of been slumping. But still, he's still batting, 270 or so. He's got 20 home runs. He's up there in home run leaders. He's in the top 10 or something. He's definitely deserving, right? And he gets the job done. He's been clutch lately. He should be in the consideration. And then C.J. Cron, again, has slumped as of late. But if you're going to go off of as of late, then Nelson Cruz should be in the All-Star game. So, Cron, he's had a great defense at first base, one of the best defensive first basemen that is playing the game this season. He has been absolutely phenomenal, and there's no reason to keep him out. As he doesn't hit as many home runs, but he has been just like Rosario, very clutch in situations. He needs to be considered as, he, like I said, great first baseman. He's got a fantastic glove at first base. And that's obviously part of it, but he can hit, right? I don't know what he's at for home runs. It's got to be 15 or 16 as well. Again, if you're looking at it from Nelson Cruz's standpoint, and you say, okay, Nelson Cruz, he just was at 12. Now he's at 16. That's great. Obviously, C.J. Cron has been at 16 or 15 for a while, but still, you can't be like, okay, we're going to pick and choose where the limit is, where somebody is good. He was at 16 home runs before a lot of guys were. So, those three guys obviously should be considered, right? And it's really dumb how none of them made it to the reserves, okay? Because those were the guys on the ballot. Right now, we're going to talk about a couple guys who got completely screwed entirely. And, again, we're used to this. What can you do? The Astros, I hate the All-Star game. I've told you this before. I have absolutely hated the All-Star game because of how the fans vote. It's not about skill anymore. It's literally about how big is your fan base, how many people are you appealing to. And, of course, a little bit is about skill. Obviously, Polanco is not as popular as, somebody like Correa or Didi Gregorius. So it's good to see a little bit of, stats actually helping. And, of course, the Twins fans, voting him in. But then you look at something like they have 6 players in. George Springer was hurt for so long. Brantley, I can understand. That's fine. Of course, Trout. Presley's really good. I can't remember the other guys who were in there. But you know what I'm saying? They had like 3 starters. And, of course, Bregman. I guess Bregman's in there too. But 3 starters and then 3 reserve guys. They're good. I get that. The Astros are good. But the Minnesota Twins have the best record in the AL and the second best record in the MLB. And they could only get 2 guys in. That's ridiculous. So, of course, now let's talk about the 2 guys who got completely snubbed. Byron Buxton and Max Kepler. I mean, these guys were 10 and 11 on that dumb fan all-star voting. And the reason I say it's dumb is because Aaron Judge was number 6 or 7. He did not play a single game. He did not swing an at-bat since April. And he still was number 7 in the fan voting because he was popular enough. There is absolutely no stats to back it up whatsoever. And he got into the All-Star game or All-Star fan voting before Kepler did. I mean, if you want to look at Kepler's stats, he is a right fielder, okay? Yes, he's not Mookie Betts. He's not Mike Trout. He's not Yelich or, Bellinger. But Max Kepler has the most home runs for a Twin, number 7 or so in the league, and this is the entire league. I'm not sure just about right fielders. I thought I saw yesterday. It was like he's like 3rd in every single category, like across the board, like OPS, hits, runs, average, all that. Like he's like 3rd or 4th across the entire board for right fielders in the AL, of course. But if you look at him against the entire AL, he's like 5th and 6th and 7th and 9th in every single category. And of course that has players like Sanchez, and I guess I'm not looking at it, but like Sanchez, who's a catcher. And of course, he's been having a really good season, but he knocks, Kepler down. And then freaking Aaron Judge gets in the All-Star game and knocks him down again. So people are so much overlooking Max Kepler. Again, the most home runs on the team. Can I scroll down here? Maybe we'll get to see it. Most home runs on the team, which is fine. I mean, 21 is quite a lot, right? It's not, nobody's saying, yeah, okay, I think Edwin has like 24, 25. It doesn't matter. He's 6th in home runs in the entire AL in this season. He's 10th in the AL in batting, run batting in, 9th in slugging, 4th in extra base hits, 4th in sacrifice flies. Let's see, where else can I look? He's got 100% out in the field for fielding defense. I mean, there's so many stats. You can go look it up on Baseball Reference or wherever, you get your stats from. But for the basic argument, he is up there in the top 10 in the entire league, going up against Mookie Betts and Mike Trout. Of course, he's not going to be them. But That's why there's reserves. And he got completely snubbed from even getting the possibility to be a reserve. Same with Byron Buxton. We'll talk about him really quick. And Jose Barrios. I mean, these are the guys that Jose Barrios, again, probably should be an all-star because of how well he's pitched. Again, as of late, before, his record doesn't show it at 8-4 because he gives up 1 home run per game, and the team can't score runs when he's out there. But Byron Buxton, leading defensive WAR, up there in extra base hits. He can steal bases. I mean, this is a guy who, again, is going up against Mike Trout and Mookie Betts and all these other outfielders, everyone from Houston, that he has to compete against. And, of course, you're going to go after Houston and, Judge, Stanton, these kind of guys who were getting votes more than Byron Buxton because they can appeal to big markets, right? Aaron Judge appeals to the entirety of New York. Even if you're a Mets fan, you're like, okay, I get to see Aaron Judge, and maybe that's not true. Again, I'm not a Mets fan or a Yankees fan, so I wouldn't know, but he's in that area with a lot more people. Of course, Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, they've got that surrounding area with Byron Buxton and Kepler, but there's not as many people there. And of course, when you have to go up against Aaron Judge in the fan vote and you get screwed, even though your stats prove, again, he's in the top 10 in a lot of these categories, especially designed for him, speed, WAR, stolen bases. Not really in that category because he keeps getting doubles. Like, that's what I'm saying. Extra base hits, amazing catches. His freaking defense is fantastic. So, these guys got screwed, right? We all know that. It's really frustrating for me to watch. Again, I hate the All-Star game because this keeps happening every year. You can't tell me that the second best team in baseball only gets two guys in the All-Star game. Again, congratulations to Jorge Polanco and Jake Odorizzi. They completely deserve it. But you cannot tell me that these guys aren't even reserves. Like, are you kidding me? That's the problem that I have with the All-Star game. But I want to know your opinion, right? I just listed 6 guys, right? You've got all 3 guys who were on the All-Star ballot that didn't get in. Rosario, Cruz, and Cron. And then you've got Kepler and Buxton. And then you've got Barrios. I want to know what your opinion is about those guys. I want to know, who should have got in out of those guys. And maybe I'm missing a guy. Maybe Sano gets in for some reason. Maybe you tell me Sano gets in or Arias. I don't know. But I want to know your opinion. I definitely think that those guys got snubbed. Incredible, especially Max Kepler and Nelson Cruz. Those 2 guys I would say got screwed the most. But I want to know what you guys think. And let me know down in the comments. I would love to say hi and, argue or discuss with you. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like. If you missed yesterday's video, click right there. And we will see you next time. Hopefully for, I don't know. We'll see you next time.